Mr. Mankwa, me office was a niska bani de awie ni project no. Eso de bia me office ka ma ne wo problem.
Enemremu. Na monte tap send nka.
No so ne de.
Tap send dey easy, fast and secured way. Ubetimi send this free amanone. Aba Ghana bank account and as a mobile money account. Untia transfer fee bia.
Sir, I obey any say.
Chene say won call App Store na Play Store. On download the tap send app no. Or download ya. Ebebu sanso promo code. Oma the pet TV shim. Obenya €5, £5, and answer $10 on his first transfer.
And you make kwa friend catch them.
Tabi minyanwe. Esansa tap send at the good news aba. Tap send the gina the customers won't or the tap send wallet aba.
I know about any say.
So your customer who you cases here. Ubetimi akọ tap send app no create wallet woso. Enti se rate ne kosora now the sika kogu wallet no. Anase mpo betimi atususu nkakra. Enti abre sema opeso send sika ba Ghana no. No anse wa send sika na ba Ghana. Anase oba o my Ghana mu a watimi use sika e wo wallet no no. Tie.
And you said to say you use momo Ghana hey no.
Sa pepe. Se si tap send that trena shim. Kopium wo United Arab Emirates, Netherlands and Austria. Tap send now. Papa no.
Buy an interest-free home and pay within 36 months. Yes, Daimler Homes' new gold standard development, Hilton Court, has just commenced, and you can own a unit now and pay within 36 months without any interest. Starting at 95,000, you can own an elegant apartment. And guess what? Discounts are available from now till end of May. To learn more, visit our website at daimlerhomesgh.com or call us on 0200 584 558. Daimler Homes, the elegance of living.
A very good evening and welcome to your Thursday evening show, Time with Tap Send with your servant Nana Kwame Oseitu, live on OT Media TV. We are streaming on Facebook, YouTube, and other social media platforms. Welcome to your number one Thursday evening show. We want to say a very big thank you to our sponsors, especially Tap Send, for holding us, for us to be able to bring this show to you on every Thursday. Ebusiafo, me mo bibia ajo, me mo bibia kwaba eba jumedie so. Se ye nyamua enka ebe den. Every Thursday bia mo na mbeka ho ema yetimi edi show yi ebreo. Se mo amba yentimi emfa show yi emba. Enti eda obi bia se every Thursday bia mo nyamre edi join yen ewa ahanomo. Tap Send so say utie me day wherever that you are around the globe, especially in the UK, Europe, Canada, America, and you are not using Tap Send wherever that you are, I will recommend Tap Send to you. It's one of the best app that you can use to send money to Africa and Asia without having any issues. And as they always promise, they have a dedicated customer service team that they are always available to assist their customers, even when you have problems. So please go to App Store, Play Store, and download Tap Send today and use it to send money to Africa and Asia, and you will love it. Tap Send or say Papa no. Right. So today, what are we talking about? We have a very special topic that I know it will be very good for you to call somebody to join us this evening on this show. Is answer asemi ayeba beken ehun be hia mame ehun be hia amawo. Eni ti fre wunu bi na fre adamfo bi na ka chen so wono so enjoy yen e wo Time with Tap Send ene enwumre. Me gidi se dwumadie yi ebeye emoa ani inshira ama obi bia ene enwumre obe join yen. Last week, we hosted a very young, dynamic property investor by name Emmanuel Antwi. Tonight, Emmanuel is going to join us again. And also, I've got a lawyer from Ghana by name Lawyer Richmond Colley. Lawyer Richmond Colley will also join us on this show for us to discuss about property investment. Right. So at this point, me call tap send asuye na makwa kwahwe nia so tap asuye. Sabra me no ka say die when yan ntie say tap de wallet o introduce UK corridor no. Any tap send say wo customer na wo Europe and they won't so onsa aka tap send wallet in your account. No be uzam say na tap send wallet no kra no eno any day a new feature tap send they ababeka app no ho say ene wo hwe say the rate no ekọ nanim no na ochine bi say ebeti abafam a obi enim eno ntia hu behia say obekọ wallet mu na wa save sika kakra wallet at today's rate. So even when the rates goes down, you already have a very high rate in your wallet that you can use. And more especially when you are going to Ghana, you can save your money in your wallet and you don't need to carry any hard cash on you for your own safety, as a matter of fact, and also to have a very higher rate when you are in Ghana, because the Forest Bureau, the rate that they will give to you when you go to Ghana, it will definitely be lower than what you get on tap send. So I will recommend tap send wallet to you, especially in more Europe. And it's a call app ni mo ohwe down honoma no achro say create wallet bomodiana create wallet no na fasika gumu kakra na hu hia na wa ankasa wasan ayusu bia wo create wallet na say on verify your account na abeka just say verify your account with your ID. So ID I accept it on tap send account no could be your passport, your European driving or UK driving license, your biometric card, which is your residence permit, any other forms of ID, even your Ghana passport. Yeah, accept it on tap send account for you to verify your account. Tibomodia, create your wallet, create your account, and use it. And immediately say ebebo will be brave. Almost start using it there. Abo pa. Ahe and I'll be save in tap send wallet. We be save up to 50,000 Ghana. 50,000 Ghana. Na say who sikan ewum na bi a wochina bi ehu ehia say obese uyusu sika no bi ewo hanoma an ubetimi assign a withdraw from the wallet into your bank account unya problems bia ntino bomodia na save you sika ewo tap send wallet mu mayenko ura a class on na ye no so ye ne na edwetwe nkomo ba ko mienu miensa na afi me guest ede abro ene anwumre ura a class me mo ajo emo akwa aba from tap ene anwumre ede oba dwumadi so
ne etifo ne arefo nso so leba time of tata say OT media eso ye cheche mu na baby bia obia awowa say de bia every week bia no mo de sham calendar so na mbo mo dia say mu ne ebehia ewa ha na mu ne den edi dwuma nso so ya me sham ewo your time you spend with us every week, you know, we really appreciate it. Okay, maybe na na kwa me eka me bi efa wallet no and so me the big to be can say wallet just the ID cards amenia ebobo so no the air declare woman so say o Ghana card so Ghana card e accept e we system so o kwase hono ma we so ma indicate other other form of ID card ma tro Ghana card or then we accept it on our system as well. Internet and no. And then the so one. How do you use your promo code and the referral code as well? And you know what we plead with people to say, young friends are working share influencer and NASA ambassador be our baby. Whether be in Europe or America or UK, no. I know a time or promo code be and on our promo code no generate SKB and amount. So it's gonna add the amount for your first transfer, no. All the bedding, all best and no, and this is Canadian, also amount. No, it's no air back. It is a one businibia, our very phobia and pachopi, Bomodian said, obey promo code, no, now that's so. And our second aspect is so the side hustle. Side hustle every day. And it's a what 20 startups and every year, no. The switch of it, crowd say, "Obey me, their business so account." show app ma top left of the app no ubehu say lines mean say be ewo o click say lines mean sana eso a it will show you your name then eventually wa kasa code a wan kasa so owo ubetimi dey invite amafo amomo ayeden abata tap send so na so omo bata tap send so a na so we use code na tap send will credit will app no with the maybe I want maybe a £5 or $10 or €5 depend on baby krona ayeden owo. It doesn't matter who UK ha bet my refer go USA who USA bet my refer go Germany and Europe until at the end of the day no bring your bonus no say there then a city into the best chance say e was for young course and take good make good use of this opportunity no near find side hustle. Who knows there's a lady be a Michelle weekend here na ono crap or bokra chain omo influencers no how no timi den otimi nya about 200 ewo ni wallet no through this referrals here or den why ye any other in the best it was for ye na no. Let's jump on the trail and also let's keep on using the referral code and invite family and friends to join us onto this big family and so. Ya mi show na. Mi nya na kwame. Over to you. Say bia say question bo na bibia bacho.
Yo, a very quick one. If Obi e use tap send na onim baby and referral code no ewo a obi timi dey invite nkrofo a obeye den ebi emu so say o invite nkrofo a obeye den no hu say oni bako no use ni referral code no I enter into ne account when or download ya na me so me dey crampo no me hu say onipa ya me refer ni omo di sika £5 no o use a omo dey amame me dey no me.
Okay. And the first and foremost, no, OB app my top left. Ubon say lines mean send be ewo. O click lines mean send so ebe yama within o telephone number email address. Na atro o referral code no ewo hono. Into within your OT media na wa short na ma. Ebe OT media 3 na wa trash hono. No wa tro wa se kitu wa tro ase say invite. Into click invite no so ebe generate link be any code no together. Into what I normally tell people is just copy the code on itself as well. Then what click invite how do you want to invite people to join onto the platform? So a text message, as text message, as WhatsApp, and I say email. Into what select here, whichever media you want to say WhatsApp, and I click WhatsApp. So not sure contact no share gumsa. And now between the group pages, now the code now then ask my say, remember to use my code after registration. The pakro you should read let's say obomo dia let's oba beseni scanner before oba beseni scanner the £5 be count the pakro na we invite no need anymore. Then or send we pe obetis colon e wo wudi anymore. O app anymore. Or hono so be app anymore so a obo say yina se ono top left ono o metro bonus it indicate actually say bonus credit I uwoni into so inviting about 20 name 10 and they use it will indicate to you say 10 I and they use and then say bonus so then about account in so UK there about 10 times 5 that's when your £50 our wallet mo app mo at the wedding and that can be used at any point in time. Once you've got bonus credits on your app and you want to send money, you can use the credit also as well.
Yo, all right, class. You better say and then you say wa baby chichi mu ate how I be used to a referral code, any a promo code. Na mijidi say yen wako isu nyina we will take notice of it. Na ya catch the yen me namfo. And say, oh, catch them for them to use that app send, now unsu unya bibi edifimu. Yami ain't show or a class, that's it. Yo, I was for we are talking about mistakes that property investors should avoid. Mistakes that property investors should avoid. We all are ye per se, debi ye be sit down. Say yes, si dan no chine bi ekọ efia na yakọ akọtena mu and I say yes dan near the rent as our business and no ni nyina ehun asem. Last week ye bobo so say wo eye UK hanom and I say eye Ghana and I say US and I Canada, Europe baby bia will be ye the property investment ehun enkomo. Tonight we want to talk about mistakes that property investors should avoid. And on the show this evening is a gentleman who is not a visitor or who is not a stranger on this platform. He has been here for some time now, and tonight he's here again. And we will also be joined by lawyer Richmond Colley, a very experienced lawyer when it comes to property investment. He's really really good when it comes to property investment in Ghana especially. So Roya Richmond Colley will also join us on the call. But before that, let me take a quick commercial break. When I come back, I will introduce to you my first guest, Emmanuel Antwi. Producer.
Okay, hello. I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate TapTap for a wonderful job so far. I've been a customer for TapTap for the past 2 years, and I'm really enjoying it. Lately, I met A-Class Photography, and we had a good chat. He introduced me to the wallet. As I'm speaking to you now, I've got 5,000 in my wallet. So what happens is, if the rates go down, I still have that money locked up in my wallet. So I don't need to worry about the rate. Whether the rate is going up or is going down, I don't need to worry about it. I have it locked up in my wallet, and I can go to the wallet and send it anytime that I want. So I'm introducing it to you. I hope TapTap is going to keep up the good work. If possible, later in the year, transfer from TapTap to TapTap. We're looking forward to that. So hopefully we could get to that point. But for now, I'd like to say thank you for TapTap for the wonderful work they're doing so far, and we hope they continue to give us a good service with you and offering for us all this while. Thank you so much, TapTap.
TapTap said, "Oh, I was my baby, you're from Calabos, the only boss." With oneness, baby, I will be everywhere I day and everywhere they go. TapTap Send got me covered. Therefore, if you need to send money or transfer money from Europe, from Canada, from USA, from UK, any part in Europe, you can send it through TapTap Send. And guess what? Oceania, they will receive it right here in Ghana and many countries across Africa. So what are you waiting for? Download TapTap Send now on Google Play Store or App Store. When you download, it's so easy to use. Tell your families, tell your loved ones to download TapTap Send. Okay? But also, when I receive my money, the other time I would be chilling, like my view, no, hey, you crazy.
Download TapTap Send now on Google Play and App Store. TapTap Send, it's secure, convenient, easy, and fast.
Hi, God bless you so much. On 24th to 25th of May, Hamburg, are you ready? You just have to get yourself ready. Lord, circumcise my heart. And it's time to have an encounter with God. It's time for women to lift themselves up and speak to this God. So you don't have to miss it. It's going to be 5:30 p.m. sharp every day, 24th, 25th. It's a 2 days program. Circumcision of the heart, where we worship, where we pray, where we have an encounter, where we get filled, where we are empowered for another level. You don't have to miss it. I'm going to be there. Other people are going to be there. You have to be there. So I invite you especially to be there and come and be blessed. It is time to be impacted. 24th, 25th of May, nowhere than Hamburg, Germany. God bless you for coming. I can't wait to meet you. Thank you.
Welcome back again to your number one Thursday evening show, Time with TapTap Send with yourself and Nana Kwame Oseitu. And like I said earlier on, this evening we are talking about mistakes that property investors should avoid. mistakes that property investors should avoid. And my first guest on the show this evening is Evangelist Emmanuel Antwi. Evangelist Emmanuel Antwi is an evangelist of the gospel and also a property investor. And he has been in the industry for more than 10-15 years now. And tonight he's here to share his experience with us and also give us some pointers of some of the mistakes that property investors should avoid. Ima, a very good evening and welcome to the show.
Good evening, Nana. Thanks for having me as always. God bless you. Hallelujah. I'm in church and I'm at the same time presenting. So I wherever we go, we still talk about God, one way or the other. Anyway, very good evening to everyone here.
The evangelism work. It's part of the evangelism work. We are winning souls to come and invest in property. We are winning souls to come and invest in property.
Invest in properties. That is good. That is good. God bless you all. Thanks for connecting. My name is Emmanuel. I was here, I believe, last week, and I received another invitation to come today. I don't take it for granted at all. And so, Nana, thank you and your crew for the good work and amazing work and believing in what we also do and what we offer to the community at large. I'm glad to be here, and as always, I'm happy to take every question you would have. But tonight is a special night. We are talking about something very, very interesting, and so please, I want you to pay very rapt attention, because it's going to go a very long way to help you, especially if you have any interest in becoming a property investor or owning a property in the UK. Just for the benefit of those who don't understand our local dialect, I will be speaking in English, and then occasionally I would also add a bit of Twi. But if I do that, I will try and translate it to benefit the wider audience. And so God bless you, and please let me share my screen, and we will begin from where we started off as of last week. And then, of course, I will run through quickly and go to the subject of the day, and we will see how we end. But it's going to be a good program. All right. So prepare all your questions. I'm ready to answer them by the special grace of God. Okay, so let's start. So who am I? I think Nana already said that. My name is Emmanuel. I'm the CEO of ECA Homes Limited. The business was established 2015 in the UK. I personally have been in the industry over 15 years, investing in Ghana and in the UK. I've managed over 15 million pounds worth of portfolio in the UK. At the moment, we've started some investment in Ghana as well. But for those of you who also don't know, I'm also a publisher. I have published a book called Break for Breaks. You will find this book on Amazon. And so you can type Break for Break and type my name, Emmanuel Antwi. You should find the book. It's a very good book for any starter, anyone who wants to become a property investor. I think you should read this book. It gives you a lot of insight into becoming a good property investor. Over the years, I've also trained a lot of people who are doing amazingly well. Some of my students will be joining because I've shared the link to my contact as well. And so majority of them, my clients and coach, and my students would be connecting. And so if you are interested in learning what property investment is, and I'm happy to help you through the journey and give you a very good start. Like Nana said, I'm also a commissioned evangelist with the Elim Church International at Stevenage here in the United Kingdom. But by the special grace of God, I get the privilege to preach the gospel across the globe. I've been to Ghana. We are traveling to a few other African countries, Europe, and the rest. We've gone to America doing the work of the ministry. And so bear us in prayer. Whilst we do the work of God, we do business on the side. That is even a priority to us. Yeah. And I'm married to one wife, I enjoy swimming, and I have 3 kids by the special grace of God. All right, so last week, I'm just going to go straight into, because of time, and I want to give a lot of room for questions. Last week, we spoke about the importance of owning a property or properties in the UK. We also spoke about the opportunities available for first-time buyers, for those of you who are here, and of course, how to prepare yourself, to become a property investor or to invest in properties. What, however, we didn't do is that we didn't get a lot of time to explore on the third option, how to prepare yourself to become a property investor. And so the topic for today kind of, is a mirror of the third point, which is how to prepare yourself. In other words, what are the mistakes you should avoid when you want to invest in properties in the UK? But I'm going to take you through a very quick ride on what we discussed last week. And if you have any questions, I'm happy to obviously take that as well. But I'm not going to dwell on this because there is a lot I want to tell you. Now, obviously, we did mention about the importance of owning a property in the UK. We spoke about investment diversification, in the sense that if you owe a share of a property, you are not putting your money in one box. Usika share baby bako. Or be se company ni gua. Ebi one more ne sika kokoto good. Na sika ni share and no pen any investment. Company ni gua. What will you do? And so investing in something like properties helps you to diversify your investment. As a saying, usika na wotu wana opese wodi share ejapade mu no wachi chem into no chine bi no se bibi mposi a ewo baby a you are assured say you have one also available for you. Also, it helps with risks, because when you diversify, when there is a crash, at least say usika na de share properties mu no, that investment is available for you and you can leverage on that at any point in time. And I love property because it is the only investment you can touch. Whereas other investments, they are all in the air. They are all numbers crunching. All right. Unless, of course, maybe you are into gold, watches and all other, petty tradings or major tradings like oil and those stuff. But I love property investment because it's proven in the past, in history, that is one of the best investments. One second. Yes, sorry, apologies. All right, so like I said, it is the only investment you would know that this is my investment. This, I can touch, and over the years, it's proven to be, a force to reckon with. When there are serious crashes in the economy, properties, real estate investment had always found a way to bounce back. It would always bounce back. When there is a dip, it bounces back. And I showed you this graph last week, where you would see that those who invested in properties somewhere around 2007 here in the UK, they were probably buying properties within a region of 170, on an average of 170. And then from 2007 straight to 2013, we can see that there is a steady increase. It's a steady increase. Look at the graph. Your graph, it was a graph all right. Even when there is a dip, it goes up and then it goes down. Then there is a sharp, upward trend, and it continues, and it has continued until 2023, where we are beginning to see a bit of a dip. But it's not actually a dip. It's what we call within the trading industry correction. So the market is correcting itself, and by all means there are other parameters like inflation rates that is going on and all those bits and bobs, but of course it is proving to be a very, very good investment in the past, and it's not going to stop. Of course, when you invest in properties, rental income. So not only do you get the income you get when you work, it's and only one income. But also, when you invest in properties, you can rent it, and that also generates another income. And so you can't lose in any way. And like I said last week, you can use properties as a hedge against inflation. Right now, inflation is about 3.8 in the UK. When you go elsewhere in the world, it's even worse, especially in Africa. Inflation is crazy. So imagine if you have £100,000, or let's say even £10,000 in the bank. If the £10,000 you have in the bank is not generating a profit or an interest of more than 3.8%, your money is depreciating. We see can because at the bit me 10,000 at or chinano and now person the £10,000 so I won't mean to. So your money is depreciating. It's in the bank, which is why you've got to find an investment that will make you more money. So we say that it replaces property, it becomes a hedge against inflation. And of course, it gives you long-term stability. There are properties you will buy. For example, if you had bought properties in 2020, by this time, the value of the property had gone up. And so that can give you some sort of stability in life, some stability in life. And if you want to do some work, if you want to, invest in some properties in Ghana, or, go into some sort of, development, whatever it is, at least you can, rely on some investments you have in the past. Anyway, so that is it. And I also mentioned about the tax benefits, but I always try not to touch that one. But there is a huge tax benefit investing in properties. If you want to find out more, I would advise that find an accountant. And if you don't have one, contact me. I have an accountant I've been working with for 15 years. And we have a very, very good relationship. We don't have issues at all. By all means, it also gives you that pride of ownership. Miss Matodine, it's not like it just gives you a with me, so what that means is that it helps you to move on. It has like a booster to help you in life, because if you buy one property, then it encourages you to buy another, because you bought one. So hey, Miss Menyadine, it means there are people when they look into their family, but as for you, God has helped you. You've been able to buy one, and so you should be proud of yourself that you are somebody. And God has helped you. So owning a property is good. There are a lot of schemes, shared ownership. I'm not going to go through the schemes, but amazing schemes. I was talking to some few people. Some of you booked some time with me and we spoke, and majority of you were more interested in the right to buy, council, and then the right to acquire from the housing association. And it's amazing. I took my time to talk to you guys, but we are in a very good time right now. If you live in a council house for over 3 years, don't leave it. You can buy that house with a huge discount, up to 105 or even more if you live in London. I believe it's about 132 if you live in London. So I will not go into that because that's not the topic for the day. But by all means, there are so many opportunities. Those of you who don't think that you can build a house in the UK, there is a scheme that helps you to build a house in the UK. I remember I was telling someone that you can build your own family house in the UK. Now it's missing that with UK so. Now, Ghana, no. And then I said yes. You've got to know the right people to approach and the right information to be able to do that. But the government is running a scheme called the Help to Build. And so if you want to build a house, there is a scheme that will help you to build. All right. So don't leave without knowing that there are other opportunities. I won't go into this, but we spoke about this. Every property, everything you want to do in this country, all right, if you want to invest, if you want to be a serious property investor in the UK, or you want to own property in the UK, it is all based on 4 things. Number 1, your affordability, your deposit, your credit reports, and the lender you choose. These 4 things will help you to buy as many properties as possible. Of course, you have to have this knowledge plus your strategies. I always tell people, you never go to the market to buy or invest in a property, a business, without a business plan or a strategy. There are many people who are just buying properties because when you're saving on an auto. Yeah, in as much as it's a good thing, there are better ways to buy properties. But affordability, what is affordability? Affordability simply means how much, what your current income is able to borrow, what you can borrow based on your current income. All right. So, for example, if you make 20,000 a year, the lender you are going to approach will multiply your 20,000 by an index, a number. That number is normally 4.5. All right. And in some instance, some of the lenders will multiply it by 5. So if, for example, you take 20,000, you multiply by 4.5. But I see people doing that all the time. It's not always black and white. And yet, says Annette here, because they also have to take consideration your expenses. And so if you earn 20,000, but your expenses, you have a car finance of 500 pounds a month, your rent is also, and so they will have to deduct all those things. By the time they deduct it, your affordability will be nothing to write home about. But anyway, that is the concept. So no lender will say because in the past, when you want to buy property in the UK, you can just walk into the bank, show them your driving license, and you can be working out with a mortgage offer. But those days are way gone. Right now, they will have to check if you can afford. They call that responsible lending. All right. So they want to make sure, they want to do their due diligence. And it's a visa for space for away bra, because they want to make sure that you are able to pay back the loan without putting undue pressure on you. Okay. And so they have a duty to ensure that they are not putting stress on you. So if, for example, a bank lends you money you cannot afford to pay back, and you can prove it that within any reasonable doubt that they lend it to you on the basis that they knew you couldn't afford, and they still lend it to you, and you don't pay, even the court will write off that loan because it was irresponsible lending. But the banks, they know that now. And so they have employed people who sit down to make sure that by the time they give you a mortgage, before the mortgage, they have done all their searches to make sure you can afford it before they will give it to you. All right. That is why we call affordability. And normally it is your annual income. The whole year, 20,000, 20,000 multiplied by 4.5 or 5. But of course, you have to take into consideration your expenses. Then we have a deposit. Deposit is your contribution towards the purchase. And so, for example, if you are not buying cash, then you must also contribute. That's what I like to call this one. You also have to put your skin in the game. All right. So the lender is not going to say, hey, the lender would also want you to put something, which is why there are various schemes now. But because people are struggling to raise deposits, when we went through a bit of a dip within last year or two, interest rate went so high, and the banks needed to withdraw back, so they withdrew most of their packages, and the minimum deposit most of the lenders were requiring was about 15% of the property price. Now there's a lot of schemes where all you just need is about 5% or 10%. Okay. As a matter of fact, there are even schemes where you don't need anything at all. And if, for example, if you were in the council apartment and you were buying the council house, then we can use the discount you get in the property as your deposit. So you won't need deposit. I spoke about this extensively last week, so I'm not going to go into it. But majority of the time, you would need to have some sort of money sitting in the bank. I hear people call me and they go like, oh, for 5,000 pounds, make me out to die. Yes, we make me out to die, but there is more to it than that. But I'll leave that for the questioning time, so that when you have any question, you can ask me and I will explain. And then we also have something we call the credit report. What is the credit report? The credit report simply means it is the way you've conducted yourself. It's all going on a database. So the money you are taking from the bank, the borrowings you are borrowing, the credit cards you are taking, all those records are being kept somewhere. All right. They are recording. When you go to Agos and you take Agos cards, they go and report it to these credit agencies that you have taken credit, you have taken a loan from them. And then when you go to your bank and you take another credit card, they also go there. When you go and take like car finance, they also go to the credit agency people, and they log the amount you have there. So they use that system to regulate the way you lend, which is all part of the responsible lending, scheme that has been introduced in the country. Now, why is this important? Every lender you go to will refer you back to your credit report. And if you've not conducted yourself properly, then it will define whether or not they will give you the mortgage if they have to. Then, of course, the lender. Why is the lender very important? Because the lender you go to is as important as the property you are going to look for. Not every lender lends on any property. Some of the lenders are commercial lenders, some are specialist lenders, some are high street lenders. The high street lenders, they are robotic. They just tick the boxes. So but for example, the specialist lender, when there is an issue with your credit report, you can talk to them and they would assess your credit and they would think reasonably within what is happening with you and decide whether or not to lend to you. But of course, their interest rate is also very, very high. The high street ones like the Barclays, the NatWest, the Nationwide, and all the Lloyds banks and all those stuff, the interest rates are most of the time better than the specialist lenders. But they don't just lend to everybody. And so when you have a unique situation, the lender you approach is very, very important. And if you are investing in properties, like you are buying properties into a limited company, then of course there are also other lenders we approach. We don't just go to any lender. There are lenders we deal with. Anyway, so that's just a quick recap, but I'm going to run through the mistakes property investors must avoid. I have put together some few presentation. I won't be long so that you can ask your question. All right. So let's talk about affordability. Now you know what affordability is. And these are mistakes people do, and I want you to avoid this, okay? The first mistake is when it comes to affordability, there are people who run poor business, business and personal statement. For example, especially our nurses and the social work, those who work under umbrella companies. What they do is that they open a business account and then their umbrella company pays the money into their business account. Instead of them putting them, getting an accountant to register them as a PAYE on their own business or as self-employed so that they can draw money from the account, they don't do any of those. All they do is, then they move money from their business account to their personal account. So there is this inflow and outflow of money through the business and the current account with no accountability at all. Don't do that. Lenders don't like that, all right? If you have a business, make sure you have an accountant. If you want to withdraw money from your business, let it be well structured. Put yourself on salary. Say, for example, this is my business, but I want to pay myself 30,000 a year. Let the accountant work out how much, give you pay slips, and pay you properly. Okay? Of course, if you are the director of the business, at the end of the year, if you make profit, you can withdraw dividends. The dividends can be paid either on a monthly basis or as a lump sum into your business. But at least you can account for every transaction that is coming from your business to your personal account. Not like, I was me coach me bill away, then you transfer money. I was me coach me faka, then you transfer money. Those kind of things with no proper records, like no invoices and stuff. Don't do that. Lenders don't like that. They will begin to question why you have all those things in your account. Now, there are people who, because of affordability issues, they team up with people to arrange, payroll system. And so, onye juma so say, say ubetimetria meka na on you be signing up, employ me for 3 months. And then the person employs them for 3 months and give them 3 months, pay slip and runs like 3 months, payment into the account. And that's it. It doesn't work like that. The lenders, they now know what we are doing. And so they are becoming very wise by the day. And so if you want to work out your affordability, you need to talk to an accountant, or you need to talk to a financial advisor, talk to someone like myself, so that we can help you to do it properly. Don't just run. There are clients who have gotten themselves into trouble because they were running their own payroll, and the accountant was just running any pay slips for them, and they send the pay slip to the lender, not knowing the accountant doesn't, the accountant, because he was just doing anything, did not take their time to check the pay slips properly. Because of that, they've marked them as fraudulent, and they've registered their name on SAFAS, and that will stop them from buying property for the next 6 years. So it will not do any good to you. You have to avoid that. And if you want to engage in anything like that, talk to a broker or financial advisor for your options. Don't just run accounts, all right? All right, failing to file your self-assessment. There are people, like I said, they've declared themselves as self-employed, but for 3 years, they've never contacted an accountant to file their self-assessment. Your self-assessment is your proof of income if you are self-employed. And so every year you have to file your self-assessment and declare, substantial income. Be realistic with yourself. Whatever you get is what you get, and pay the reasonable tax on it. But of course, sometimes because we want to dodge tax, we just declare the minimum salary and then we don't pay a lot of taxes. Now when it's time to when it's time to buy a property, then we begin to now think, okay, how do we do it? And it gets a bit messier. And so, like I said, if you are self-employed and you don't have an accountant, or you are not filing your self-assessment properly, I want you to sit down with the accountant, especially if you want to buy a house. You really need to pay attention to this side and make sure whatever assessment you are running is syncing with your bank account. If you go and tell the HMRC that you are making 50,000 a year, 50,000 a year on a monthly basis, circa, you probably should be making around nothing less than 2,500, for example. But then I check your bank account, and you don't make 2,500 a month. So how did you make your 50,000? That's what the lender will ask. Okay. And of course, if there is a tax on it, have you paid the tax? Because mostly when you do your self-assessment, they release something we call the tax year overview. The tax year overview shows the tax in the same way. If I was in a PAYE or I was working on a monthly basis and I'm getting paid, my employer will pay my taxes on my behalf. So when you are self-employed, you also have to pay your taxes. And so all this, you need to be careful. Talk to someone, especially if you want to invest in property or you want to buy a property, so that it is done properly. Don't just do anything, because it can prevent you from owning a property in the UK. All right. There are some people when they want to buy properties, they start taking a lot of jobs. I know people who are engaged in like 3, 4, 5 jobs. They don't sleep, working. The lenders will know that the thing you are doing, you are only doing it because you want to buy a house, and it's not sustainable. And they are giving you the mortgage on the basis that you should be able to afford. And so if you are working 4 or 5 jobs within, a particular month to increase your income, and then afterwards you stop, then the sustainability of your income is questionable. And so what the lenders will do is that they will trash out about 3 of your work, and perhaps maybe pick maybe the first 2 and decide on the affordability. So it's not advisable. The best way to do this is, if you want to engage in multiple jobs, you'll be better off engaging in multiple jobs as self-employed, so that your assessment, your self-assessment will be done once to declare all the incomes that you are making. And then, of course, there's going to be the tax aspect, which you would have already paid, on if you are working on a PAYE basis. And so don't go picking for too many jobs because you want to get a mortgage. Pick a reasonable job and take your time and do it well and get more money coming in. It's better that way. All right. Because of time, I have to go. Too many credits. I'll come to that bit when I talk about the credit. Some of you are taking too many credits. You have credit card here, you have car finance, you have Argos card, you have Caris card. It's like you have overdraft. It is too many credits. All right, it will affect your affordability, because mind you, any amount of money you owe will be deducted from your annual income, and the monthly repayment you make will be deducted from your annual income, and that will prevent you from getting the loan you should be getting. And so, if it is possible, just get one decent credit card, because you need a credit history. All right. There are credit cards you can, if you have multiple credit cards, there is a way you can actually bring all those credit on one credit, on one credit card, and facilitate that credit card, rather than having too many credit cards everywhere. It doesn't help you at all. And if you can stay out of debt, it's very, very important. Like I said to people, if you want to get a credit card, just get one and use it for maybe your fuel or your monthly shopping, for just to help you to get like a credit history. That's all. But don't engage in so many loans and credit and car loans and those things. They don't help you if you want to buy a property in the UK. So something to consider. All right, so let's move to the next one. It's your credit report. I did said about it. There are some of you, when you get the loans too, you can't pay. You don't pay the loans. Late. Any late payment you make will be recorded on your credit report. So that doesn't help you. All right. If the lenders are beginning to see that you are paying, but you are paying late, that is leaving footprint on your credit history. And any lender who sees it will know that you are irresponsible with your finance. And because of that, they may not want to lend to you at all, because no lender wants to know that you don't pay on time. So please be very careful with unpaid loan. What even scares me is that there are people who miss payment on their mortgages, especially those who already have. If you want to invest in properties, if you want to buy 2 or 3 properties, don't be missing payment on your mortgage. If you miss payment on your mortgage, indirectly you are telling the lender that, oh, you are very irresponsible. And because of that, no lender would want to lend to you. The lenders who would want to lend to you will be specialist lenders, and their interest rate is quite high. And so be very careful. There is something called essential needs. If you you can miss payment on anything, but don't miss payment on your mortgage. All right, because these are essentials. Even if you owe Barclays or whoever a loan, and you are not able to pay, you can tell them that the money I have, I'm going to use it to pay my mortgage. So as for yours, I will wait and pay later. Even though I don't want you to do that. But what I'm trying to say is that if there is any way to avoid missing payment on your mortgage, please do it. Don't miss payment on your mortgage. All right. Some of you also like taking payday loans. That is a killer. All right. If a lender sees payday loan on your credit report or in your bank statement, they will cancel you off completely. They will just cancel you off. Payday loan means that the money you are making is not enough. And so you have to rely on a loan on a monthly basis for you to be paid. So you've spent the money you made at the end of the month, and then you have gone to take a loan. And so you've even gone into your next month payment when the money hasn't come in. That is very irresponsible. And lenders don't like that. And so as much as you can, if you don't have money, don't avoid payday loans. When you see them, avoid them completely. It's not good. All right. And then some of you, small money, for example, you miss payment or 3 payments on water, and then you go and do arrange payments. They will record the arranged payment on your credit report, and that will also reflect and tell the lender that you are an irresponsible borrower. Okay. And so I see sometimes clients coming to me, and they would arrange payment over £300, sometimes £100. £100, they will arrange payments. They say, well, I don't want to pay everything. Yeah, but when you go out with your friends, you spend more than £100. So why don't you pay that money off once and for all? So if you can avoid arranged payment, avoid it. Unless the loan is just too much and realistically you cannot afford to pay everything off. And so when you arrange, it is okay. So please be very careful with arranged payments. All right. And then some small funds. Some of you, when you see someone giving credit, maybe £250, then you go and take £100. When lenders see that you have small credits, they don't take you serious. What they want to see is you have big credit. So I would say that if you are starting off and you want to correct your credit report, it will be better that you take a small credit, but take only one, and build that one up. So don't go and take £200 credit from Lois and then go and take another £300 credit from. No, it doesn't help at all. Avoid those mistakes. It will not help you. Okay. Some of you too, you spend into your overdraft. It's okay to spend into your overdraft, but make sure you pay it off. All right, or make a lot of efforts to pay it off, especially if you want to go and get a mortgage. Make sure you have not spent into your overdraft. And the worst of it is that some people also go into their unarranged overdraft. They've not arranged any overdraft facility with their bank, but they spend so much that they go into their unarranged overdraft. And sometimes they will have money sitting in their bank. Nana, they will have like 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 sitting in their bank, but they've gone into unarranged overdraft. Why? It is irresponsible. Make sure that that is sorted. If you are that type, it will not help you, and you may not be able to get a loan if you want to invest. All right, let's look at deposits. All right, allowing friends and families to run transactions through your bank. Okay, obi beka say, oh, the person me koko tuya sika ma madam fu enti no, obetimi agi sika no we tuya ma no. Then the person puts in 10,000, not their two accounts, not their tuya obi. 2,000, not their two accounts, not their tuya obi. You see, those type of transactions right now, because of money laundering, any amount of money above 2,000, you have to answer a lender why you got that money and where that money is coming from, who you send that money to, and why the money came into your bank account. Okay, so treat your bank account seriously. Mem for bank account in kwaye banker obia sorry I'm not this girl film not the man for, especially those of you who are into this small savings. No. If you want to do susu, go and open a special bank account purposely, savings account purposely for that. Don't use your personal account for that. Your current account, don't use your current account for susu. All right, because every amount of money that passes to your current account, you have to account for it. So avoid that. It doesn't help you. When the lender tells you to bring evidence of your deposit, or they will check these things, and when they see some of these monies, they question them. So try and avoid them as much as possible. Receiving unaccountable funds in your bank account. Why did you receive £3,000? Why? You have to explain why. And so you've got to be able to understand that any money that is coming into my account right now, if a lender asks me why, I should be able to explain. If I can't explain, then think twice before you use your current account for transactions like that. If I was you, I'll be very careful. All right. So depositing too much cash. Some of you, you go and put cash. You go to the bank, 10,000, 5,000. Every day you are putting cash in. Lenders don't like that because cash transactions can't be traced. Even though it's a notable transaction within the UK trade, the lenders are quite careful lending to people who do a lot of cash transactions because they can't trust their source of funds. And because of money laundering, they are very careful doing that. So avoid putting too much cash into your bank account, like cash, Oko Bank, cash, or you can do one or two transactions like that, but most of the time, just make sure that proper monies are coming in, traceable monies are coming into your bank account to avoid getting yourself into trouble, because some of these things can put you in trouble as well. All right. All right. Emotional decision making. You want to invest in properties. Some of us, we get too emotional. Saying, hey, I like the environment. Hey, a neighborhood where they and all that. Yes, they are all very good. I like the fact that you are interested in owning a property and you want to do everything you want to do to get the property. But when you become emotional about your decision making, it will lead you to a false decision making. So what you want to do is that you want to get your head really cleared and, with every intention and be analytical. Why are you buying that property? Have you checked the condition of the property? Have you checked the structure of the property? A dino crack woman, a shaky. It doesn't matter the neighborhood. Don't be emotional. It doesn't matter how big the kitchen is. If the building is not fit for purpose and you go and buy it, it will be your own trouble. And so don't be emotional about the decision making in buying your property or investing. Be more, be more technical. Look into fault, question them, and you can even leverage on the issues that you find on the property as your bargaining power to be able to get, the price down. So don't be too emotional about this. Be very technical. Go there, check the property, ask the questions, take the emotions out. There are so many properties here in the UK, in Ghana, and everywhere, and it's not wise to be emotional about the decision making. All right. I have about two more, then we are done. Now, ignoring hidden costs. Every transaction you make when you are going to buy properties, there are hidden costs. They are not hidden, but they are costs that will come. For example, all right, a lot of buyers overlook like legal fee. When you are going to buy a property, you have solicitors. Like our next speaker, he's a solicitor, and he will charge you. His consultation is not for free. His services are not free. you are going to have to pay some sort of money. So you have to remember that there is a legal fee. You also have to remember there is a tax on the land you are buying. Okay, it's called stamp duty. And if you are a second-time buyer, you need to understand what your stamp duty charges are. And so these are stuff you need to put into consideration as well. And of course, if there's a brokerage fee as well, like our fees and all those stuff, these are stuff you have to consider. So make sure that you don't say that, oh, I'm saving because it's 5,000. There is a package, right? There is a scheme. Yorkshire Bank is running now. You can buy a property with 5,000. Well, what Yorkshire Bank didn't tell you is that you also have to pay for your legal fee. You also have to pay for maybe a brokerage fee. You also have to pay for your searches. You also have to pay for your stamp duty if there is one, depending on where you are buying from. Okay, so the 5,000 is not enough. You need about another 3,000 buffer to be able to cater for some of these fees that will come. And so don't rush into, oh, I've had 5,000, so I'm going to buy a house. And then later you realize there's a lot of costs coming in. Then you begin to stress, start calling people for loan, and your blood pressure will go up. Okay, so please avoid those mistakes. Make sure you understand all the cost implication and your commitment before you get into any investment. And make sure that if you are investing in a property, whatever money you are putting in, is it going to return even better in an investment? I have a policy. If I'm going to invest in a property, the minimum I want to make in returns will be 30%. If I don't make 30%, it doesn't make sense to me. So I don't invest at all. So that is my trading model. All right. But if you are going to buy your own residential house or apartment, then you are not in for business. But at the same time, you have to be mindful of what the charges are so that you don't get yourself into any financial difficulties. It's not a good place to be at all. All right. Insufficient research. Like I said, when you fail to research, you only set yourself up to fail. And so people just go in. I know someone, we have done all the work. They've brought the property. We even received offer only for them to realize that later on, when the solicitors did their searches, they realized there were movements in the property, and because of that, they said they don't want to proceed with the purchase. Okay, and that delayed the whole purchasing process. And so it is not wise at all. Okay, all right, yeah, sorry, my time is up, so I have to run up. So it's not wise at all to do that. So please mind you on that as well. Anyway, these are just a few thoughts. I can't share everything because my time is up and the next person has to come. But thank you for having me. If you want to get in touch with me, you have my information here, my telephone number, my email address. We are into mortgages, property investment consultation, property development, and then property coaching. I'm happy to support you along the way. Screenshot it, take my number, get in touch, contact Nana, and let's talk more about property investment. Thanks for having me, Nana. Yeah, if there is any question, I'm happy to take them. Otherwise, the next host can take over. I was flying, so I wasn't looking at the time. Apologies.
I can tell. Right.
Nana, you are muted. We can't hear you.
Very, very insightful. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay,
yes,
right.
I can hear you. Thank you.
That was very insightful. I know time will not permit us for you to finish everything, but I'm very sure that with questioning time, or some of those things will come up and you'll be able to go deeper into those areas that you were not able to cover. On the line now is also our second speaker, Lawyer Richmond Colley. Lawyer Richmond Colley is an associate at Derry and Co. And then enumerate lawyer and swababe kan or no some of the mistakes that property investors should avoid when they decide to invest in property in Ghana. Or a lawyer just say a bad property or the baby aqua court akudi any day. So with his experience, he's here to also advise us when it comes to property investment in Ghana, especially yenya bruchri for yebeko akoto asase ana yebeko akoto dan na yeni time unti ye de ahopepre na yebeye enioma bi a enzase ye na afi echiri asem no the problems aba and man so who ni faso na ye kotwen e wo man Ghana mu ene lawyer wo ha no mo se obema ye afutuo kakra na ebre eso a obe busa question time no obe answer most of your questions when it comes to property investment in Ghana. Lawyer Rich Macaulay yama ajo emo akwa benenumre to time with tap send and enumre. Lawyer, I can't hear you. Producer, can you check lawyer's end for me if everything is okay? Yeah. Yeah, nice. Lawyer says it me too kapa, me too
and I mean that's a mommy fine see for any more nyina.
Lawyer, me share o dress here, not just we call to buy a check.
Yeah, me go fie cry, me free court, me go be more office still.
Yo, yeah, that's it. So when you have time to talk to us on this show. Lawyer, quickly, say me feedback be kakra from or end or producer Ambacho share lawyer side or mame. For if you have any question for our first speaker, I want to go quickly with lawyer and I'll allow you to ask your questions. So lawyer, say what breach about property investment say to dine na ya tenemu and I say to dine near their high and I say to dine for any other purpose. Yeah, not a who wants them as a who dealing with estate developers, dealing with mortgage companies in Ghana. As a lawyer, you've been to court with so many times with some of these cases. And then to a brochure for about property investment in Ghana.
And I mean that's a me bonnet tell. I'll get straight to the point. So share Asasuma Sema, it's a big issue Ghana. So call a high court complex. So share the number of courts are devotee for land litigation. That shows a land litigation is a serious issue it is a top assassin and also top property. There are some things I also want to share. Some things you should pay attention to them. Litigation because say a 3 months assassin it takes a lot of time. Make I pass some case be a maybe law school we handle here. That case in your case now 2003. I took over the case in 2014. The case in 2019. I say who's easy. Now, man say I'm making it is my own father's land. Into assassin man from 2003. Now lawyer been here. When I became a lawyer in 2013, I took over somewhere 2014, and we had to finish this case 2019. Almost 16 years court. So there are some basic things that also be before Ubeto Asase and also Ubeto Ifi Ghana. And in the way I'll run through some few of them. So maybe a question be then I can address all the questions that people have. Number one, the first mistake property investors in Ghana should avoid is to buy property without conducting a search at the Lands Commission. Asem we me kan wasem de bia ukoto asase ukoto efie whatever once a landed property no make sure say we conduct search at the Lands Commission. We are non-negotiable because I will show you mramwa say one year search kra na ukoto property na whatever a search would have disclosed, you are deemed to have known it. Because records in our Lands Commission are public records. Until we have a home, the first thing I was saying is the site plan, not conduct search. Now, most of the time, even as lawyers, one of the things I advise is that as my personal thing, so be it as so be it fear. So I'm in the site plan. I don't even use your site plan. I get my own surveyor to go and pick the actual land. And then the surveyor will generate a site plan for me. And I use that site plan for my search. Inti enkoto asase o se o minim no. Oh, away there so be here. First thing is the first mistake you should avoid is buying property without conducting a search at the Lands Commission. Sometimes when we say SMBC a couple where beside the panel say, oh, into Kota, so you search. Or say, oh, my search. So one year search, and then say you are not a diligent buyer. So me a lawyer, and the next time I John say, oh, you are not a diligent buyer. Because say Kota asasi and also go to if you ain't tomatoes. If you ain't say Okoto nyadua or doom. No. Nyadua the young search. Tomatoes, the own yes say now wait if we ben frame, we if we no. And this Nyadua the ultimate without search. Ultimate Jane without search. Okoto if you Uko if you and as Kwakoto Asasia, Mr. Quiet Search or Lands Commission. That is the first time person will be taking note of this. Now search, ni one yet in crowd. If one yet in crowd, who crowds who site plan, what they call her. You put it in, and yes, I've forgotten how much it is, but it's not any big money. It's Mr. Bia said first thing is buying property without conducting a search at the Lands Commission. It's a mistake you should avoid. Let me move on to the second point very quickly. The second point is buying property without conducting a search at the collateral registry. Collateral registry. So sure, you will be for collateral registry. So I see collateral registry. Maybe will be the if you know an assassin or the acquire collateral, the acquire loan, and I be your registry be a Ghana or city house. Once Ukoto assassin, be very sure say you fast assassin and year collateral for bushing be and I be sir. The reason is say bad say sir if you know the acquire loan be a NTI and I say the acquire collateral and I say be sir. Let's say nipa name loan now. The bank will have precedent. Let's say a bank, they can come for that property because records now what collateral registry is and say a public records. It is a one kosha. You are deemed in law to know whatever records are at the collateral registry. It means no be as ukoto fee when we fee kama be ukoto. Just do a simple search at the collateral registry. And also in consider I think as at the last time we check searches at the collateral registry, many sure say maybe 50 Ghana cedis. It is you about 10 cedis and not 20 cedis. I don't know the current price, but any baby ni boyede. It's only here pass person to asasia Mr. Quiet search or collateral registry. I mean point number 3. Buying property from agents who do not have a power of attorney. Sometimes uko to asase and also uko to fear. But on say agents be aba or say many agents no. You see ye the bibia share me same ntimi na me hwe bibia so. Excellent. Because say ema agents enye na ejuma. But say you do time e was say won tia for that property na. So who discuss comma agent making sure say the right owner no but authorizes our agent and say on just account on his behalf. Because we've had many issues. Once we see auto assassin, see we talk agent talk, we try scanning in army, we try about 90%. Uber corner nipana at the end of the year, the person has just received 20%. 20%. That's our agent only power of attorney. They just said he was not even authorized in the first place on representing nipana at the end of the year. It's Mr. Once you are dealing with agents, especially say do time, I was on Chias agent. Making sure the agents are winning dealing or you'll be a or be the power of attorney. Next, say near property any the Nipano has empowered that agent to receive payment on his or her behalf. And see, that is a point number 3. And let me move on to point number 4. So we can have enough time for questions. Point number 4. buying leasehold property without checking the unexpired duration of the lease. As I share leasehold property, so over Ghana, most of the properties, also because talk assassin, we say assassin, the money panel for 99 years. It used to be 99 years lease. This year, they are above from here, they do 70, and KBI will do 50. Because it is so. Say, Nipana, the first person I author property, the young say on your 70 years. And also we're keeping property for 30 years before Otoamawa. Nature said the unexpired duration of the lease now can't just 40 years spent. It just said Wakotas no I sit down, come or so. In the next 40 years, your lease has expired. In Tadibako, a lot of people don't check, and this thing creates a lot of issues. You'll be surprised that there are some lands now. And some of the people know that the unexpired duration, I can't cry people also. So some of them are just in a hurry, say, Obeton most of me could tell as I say, and as I got to a fee, the unexpired duration of the lease there also know. And just about 30 years. Let's just after 30 years, or say, won't come home. Near friend and lessor near Nipana didn't any deal. You have to go to the lessor and do renegotiation for an extension of the lease. When you know a car, into Mr. Ukoto property and making sure say a leasehold property. Now Ghana they are freehold in the air. They are only free. Some who freehold properties as is here they are sakra. About these 2 lands I already know it is prescribed. You can't get freehold in 2 lands. These days family lands also there are challenges under the New Lands Act also with family lands. So they cannot create new ones. So most of properties over to Ghana no a leasehold. And so we turn leasehold property and Israel. Just say lease no in fear and I can't lease no so. And all of these things will factor into the pricing. Who got to be doing say unexpired duration I can't about 30 years. It's even a grounds to negotiate the price down. Because in 30 years, so you have to go back to the lessor and do negotiation for extension of the lease. Let me move on to point number 5 on this. Buying property without making inquiries from adjoining property owners. Oh, Mr. Ukoto property. Your neighbors, talk to them. Talk to the neighbors. Ask them questions. Very important. You will find out things that you will be surprised about it. Problem wo guys asase we last year to kwabi ebe kun wo ha no ugo to asase we and aso go to efie we man so twen wo ho pa last time kai ebe bo to ha. You see, when you talk to neighbors you pick up a lot of things that wo krata so. I always tell people I'm a lawyer. When you be BI na wo krata so some of the things may not be written in ink. Some of the things you talk to people around, talk to them. Now, I always advise people say, neighbors, don't go and talk to the neighbors when Nipa no turn dinama or no. Find one Sunday afternoon, be one sorry, I'll be difficult. Just pick a car and go to the area alone. Talk to people. Maybe some few friends from Kofokasa say, oh, if you were one day problem, you won't say. You pick up a lot of things when you talk to the neighbors. You speak to adjoining landowners. And then let me move on to point number 6 very quickly. Point number 6 is said, buying property and paying in cash. Paying in cash. We will have a cash daddy. This can be a door so buying. When we say, oh, me cash down, Miss Rao. I always advise my clients and say, Uto asase nyanya adua. As much as possible, no, do a bank transfer. Write a check for the person. Ensure say there is some documentary trail on what you are doing. Don't just pay for cash. Don't pay over the table. Yes, who was scanty, war cash into what you cash all their money panel. I'm pleading with you. Uto ifie, uto asase anabibia. Bisani Pani say, give me your account details. Say cash crown or cash now. Walk to the bank and deposit into the person's cash. you have a pay-in slip. There will be documentary trail. There will be a better set. Wait, yes, asking how many pay. Because you'll be surprised, so here, some of them will even deny. Say, wait, yes, man. Some of the people who walk around, watch your receipt amount, deny signature and care what receipt. No, so. And see, I'm pleading with everybody, say, please don't buy land who cheer over the table. As much as possible, now ensure that there is documentary trail on the payment. So do a bank transfer, write a check. If even you have cash to pay, walk to the bank and make a deposit into the person's bank account. Let me do point number 7, and then I'll pause at point number 8 and to say all questions be there, then we can just pick it up from there. Okay. One of the trends I see here in Ghana with apartment buildings. These are almost apartments about once you see high rise or baby, there are a lot of apartments coming up. Mr. Also, we'll talk apartment here. Check it, say, it will be here, your friend, management fees. Management fees. Some of the apartments, they have compulsory management fees. I am talking in terms of Ghana. There were some of the apartments now over called maybe but some of the places, no. What apartment every month I was $300. Ultimo apartment in the whole whatever every month I was $300. Because you one can't share so check these things, especially compulsory management fees. Check them. Very, very important. Because some people they are very surprised. Oh, I said, my name is also I say a apartment I'm at 20, so I will say every month be a here. Yes, or you have to pay for it. Especially if you are buying it as an investment property. Sometimes apartments are empty, only tenant home, when you'll be them for short stay, but you still have to take that money from your pocket and pay. So please check compulsory management fees. So when you check and be sure, say, whatever amount is there, if the compulsory management fee is there, first of all, be sure that you're okay. And check and see that the amount, it's reasonable, that you can afford that amount. And it's hard to win your power. And there are some few other things I'm in the background, and they are law so much. But when you pass or be unfair, I always tell people, say, one of the best times also is during the rainy season. And that's what person to assassin. One of the best times a rainy season. So drive to the land, drive to the house. There's a certain house, I drive there. Nice house. But since you can't access the house. If it rains, that is it, the place is cut off. Since you cannot drive there when it rains. And I know places in Ghana now, people are selling their houses. They're in a hurry to sell. There are some very estates, but there are some locations in Ghana. They are selling because the place floods. During the rainy season, the whole place gets flooded. So some of the people in that area, they are in a hurry to sell. And so I always advise people, say, the best time is the rainy season. Drive there, see how the place looks when it rains. It will give you a lot of ideas. Maybe when you see the place, yes, I won't talk. But if you notice the place flats, it could be even a ground, say either you not buy, or you can even use it to negotiate the price downwards. So please, it may not be law, but visit the place during the rainy season. It will give you an idea of what happens in the area during the rainy season. And then, if I will count, and then I can stop for questions. We have seen a trend these days. A lot of people are buying apartments in Ghana. And some of the people are buying the apartments with the intention, so a rental property, I'm going to rent it out. But we are noticing that many of the apartments in Accra, they are empty. Drive at night in Accra, and you notice that many of the apartments are empty because people cannot afford them. Who top property, especially if it's an investment property, maybe you want to rent it out, and check how affordable it is. Can people afford? What is your target market? You may buy a property, home property also more $500,000. You bought a $500,000 apartment and a $500,000 house, and your intention is to rent, and nobody can afford to rent it. What happens? It is a top property for rental purposes. Please be sure, say a property here, people can rent it out. There are some properties that outright, it will be difficult to rent it. Wakoto 7-bedroom house. Who wants to rent a 7-bedroom house? 7-bedroom house. Who will rent a 7-bedroom house? Very few people. Your market, the target market is very, very small. How many people in Ghana can afford to rent a 7-bedroom house? And many of the people that they can afford to rent a 7-bedroom house, they already have a home of their own already. And with them Israel who talk property, these are some of the things that you should be very careful about them when you are buying property. So now I have run you through about 8 things mistakes that people who want to invest in property in Ghana, they should avoid. And maybe I may do now pause here. We can take some questions and then I'll come back to Rana. Nana, thank you so much for having me. I'm extremely grateful. Thank you.
Yo, lawyer Richmond Colley, Yebedasi, and then you raise so no about such an insightful information that will help us sebase ye koto asase and dine ewo on my Ghana. At this point, I will go for a quick one commercial break. Me ba lawyer Richmond Colley and Emmanuel Antwi will be ready for all your questions when it comes to mistakes that investor have to should avoid when it comes to property investment. And producer, mami one quick ad break. Yebape mefa all the questions are more edema Emmanuel and lawyer and then you ray.
Buy an interest-free home and pay within 36 months. Yes, Daimler Homes' new gold standard development, Housing Court, has just commenced, and you can own a unit now and pay within 36 months without any interest. Starting at 95,000, you can own an elegant apartment. And guess what? Discounts are available from now till end of May. To learn more, visit our website at daimlerhomesgh.com or call us on 0200 584 558. Daimler Homes, the elegance of living.
Yo, I was for me saying BM on OT Media TV. Time with tap send and then you can some of the mistakes that investors should avoid when it comes to property investment in Ghana and in the UK. And then you on this show, I have my honorable guest Emmanuel Antwi and also lawyer Richmond Colley, and then you may omuna and so when it comes to property investment in the UK, all your questions, Emmanuel is ready to answer them. And when it comes to property investment and the legal aspect of it, lawyer Richmond Colley is also ready to answer all your questions when it comes to Ghana property industry. Na me kai was also say nyame aduma ochina as the lawyer Jumedie no me the ebebrel ewa hanomo eno no ye can all the immigration matters ewa UK hanomo asem lawyer wisdom akaho ebe joining me from 8 p.m. to 9 ochina enumre sa enso na ochina enumre na there is a movie right now when you go to Ghana. It is trending everywhere. Omuye movie premiere no ewo UK hanomo on the 25th of May. Na nyame yaduma ochina right after Ask the Lawyer Jumedie no, I will be interviewing the leading role leading some of the characters what movie muno nyame yaduma ochina Jumedie so many omo ebetwetwen komo talk about matter and kuma the producer of the movie. And when it comes to the premiere ebekoso ewo UK na ochina omo beba Jumedie so abeka ehun enyina asem. So please join me tomorrow. Ask the Lawyer from 8 to 9 UK time, and also right after I'll be interviewing the characters in this movie, the Shakes of Grace, and to join me tomorrow on the same platform. Right, let's go to the Zoom nafi omo questions no yemfa omo emfa embra. Let's start with Obi. Obi, please unmute yourself and ask your question. Obi, okay. Obi, you can unmute yourself now. And so, Jackie, so be unmute you.
So my first question, Ekoma, UK. And he made a statement say the way we don't have to miss some payments. So it's all mortgage now. Does it apply say if you are renting like you don't have to miss your rent to get like a good credit?
Not necessarily, because rents are not registered on your credit history. Mostly rentals are just between you and your landlord. And, you know, it's not necessarily, but if you want to engage in any of the government schemes like the 100% mortgage and the 100% mortgage, then you have to be very careful with your rentals, because they normally will request for a 12 months pay slips, a bank statement evidencing all the rent you've paid for, in a year. And so they want to make sure that you are paying your rent. And so please, if you want to go into that, scheme, then your rent will matter. But otherwise, it's not necessary. But I'm a landlord, so obviously it's not ideal for anyone to miss rent, even though the current legislations that has recently passed, but they are looking for, they are looking to kind of bring it into motion. Would say that at the moment, no landlord can evict a tenant on default, on rental default and stuff. Anyway, we are not going into rentals, but at the moment it's working more on the behalf of the tenants. But I would suggest that if you can pay, then try your hardest to pay, but it doesn't really affect you.
Okay. And my second question is, that you make statements who get it to paying your mortgage, getting the mortgage now. Things have money should not go into the account anyhow. Yeah. Will it be like the last 1 year now and 6 months before?
Well, that's a very good question. And the say most of the lenders they normally like to take 3 months bank statement, unless there is a unique situation, then they will request for 6 months. And I always tell my clients, just make sure the next 6 months, you have a very clean, bank statement. Don't be crossing monies anyhow. Well, I'll need to talk about this because we are on this platform. Tap Send is a very good way of sending money to Ghana. But when it comes to affordability, the transactions we make to Ghana, if it is quite frequent, they also use that as your expenses. And so the wiser way to do that is have your income account. So your income account is the account where your monthly income comes in, your salaries come in. And then you can have another account for your bills. So you can use the same account for your bills and treat that account special. And then have a separate savings account or another account elsewhere, where if you want to be sending money to Ghana and all that, especially if you want to buy a house for the next 6 months, have that account to be transferring money to. That's what I do. And so I have one bank account. I don't transfer money from that bank account into my income bank account. And any money I will send to Ghana, I send money into that bank account, and I use that bank account to send money to Ghana. And I'm also a Tap customer. And so I'm saying that to help you, especially if you want to buy and you are struggling with affordability already. You don't want them to see a lot of the transactions you make to Ghana and think that, oh, that's frequent, so it means that it's part of your life. Not only the account or expenses on, then they would use that to affect your ability to buy or get a mortgage. And so that's a very good tip there. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Hi.
Thank you so much.
This is Obi. Can I ask my question now?
All right, Obi, go ahead.
Hi, everyone. This is for the realtor. My question, I'm asking my question for a friend, by the way. She wanted to know if you have an outstanding balance
with the council, would that affect your right to buy?
It won't affect your right to buy because the decision is solely in the hands of the council to decide whether they will give to you. But the scheme doesn't say that because you have an outstanding, or you have an arrears on your account, you shouldn't qualify for the scheme. The scheme says if you've lived on the property for 3 years or more, then you qualify for the scheme. And so this is more discretionary. The council have to decide, how they would go about the discount they give you. If you are owing some money on it, then of course they can use that to rebate. They can take some money off from the discount they give you. But we haven't seen any unique situation like this. Most of the time, council houses are quite, cheap to pay, and the majority of the time, people just pay them because they are not too expensive. And if you miss payment, it shouldn't affect you in any case at all, because they are not lending to you. They are just giving you a paperwork to say, yes, you qualify, and that's it.
All right. Thank you very much, Obi. Lawyer Corley, this one goes to you. Can one register a land under freehold in Ghana? What conditions can one do so? Under what conditions can one do so?
Basha, can you please repeat the question? I didn't hear that.
Can one register land in Ghana under freehold, and what condition can one do so?
Okay, a very good question. Thank you so much. Also, about a freehold, Sisiana, from the 1992 Constitution, won't mean creative freehold is 2 lands. From the Lands Act, the new one, 2020, won't mean creative freehold also in family lands. But say a freeholder, you are creating it before this time, you can register it once it was created before. But after this period, you cannot create freeholds again. And it's a baby, I are creating it that one you don't have a problem. You can go ahead and then you can register. But say new freehold I ever created, let's say after the new Lands Act, you come to create a new freehold, baby, I have family land. You are coming to give it to somebody on freehold. You can't do that again. It has to be after that time. But your fan is say when you're freehold in family land, when you're let's say before 2020, when you're let's say 2010 in family land, you have that already. Maybe you won't create and won't register. You can go ahead and register, but we can't create a new one this year under the law. For 2 lands, therefore, after the 1992 Constitution, you can't create freeholding in 2 lands again. Then after the new Lands Act 2020 now, they ban the family land, so we can't create freeholds again. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's pick Diana now. Diana, please go ahead and ask your question. If you done any parts.
My question is what was ahemfo ensemo a ne se ebi omo ka say 99 years lease ne se eso a so ka bibi na man tias say 99 years ne so a eden na wo se wo ye me pa cho me question no me da se.
Okay, ma miss me da se pa enti say woto asase na lease so woto lease woto asase lease so the period ne so a you go back to your lessor. In the emphasis, IS 2 lands. You go back to the current occupant of the stool. Then you people will negotiate. You will pay them some amount. Those ones is your negotiations with them. You will pay, and then they can extend the lease for you. They can extend the lease. In fact, some to extend it by under 50 years, and now whatever it is. But once your lease expires, you have to go back to your lessor for a renegotiation for the extension of the lease. So that is what happens. Anytime your lease will expire, then you can negotiate. But it really be back on with us.
Then I'm beginning to say emuda honomo. Yenko part a honomo. Part, please omit yourself and answer question.
Yo, but my own meeting me that say. My question about mortgage deposit. I think that you mentioned we here 3 months bank statements. Now, how are they quite ben or so determine your source of funds based on 3 months bank statements, no? And so with the sorry, me the one stone a killy 2 birds. My other question is if you are getting help with deposit na is there a preparation or sort of requirement almost so be here? As in documents are also more provided to support you.
Very, very important. So in the UK, say they will have to run a money laundering check on you. Okay? And as part of the money laundering check, they would want to find out where your source of income is coming. And so what happens is, for example, if you have a 3 months bank statement, the 3 months bank statement is showing that there is a huge deposit of £10,000 in, the next month £10,000, the other month £10,000. Then they would want to find out where those £10,000 came from and who transferred it into your account and why the person gave the money to you if it was transferred by someone. If it was through a limited company, why did the limited company give you the money? You have to prove. Maybe it could be that, it was a dividend from my limited company, or I did some work and I got paid. So prove it with an invoice or something. They would want to find out, not only them, even the solicitors who are involved, and I believe even in Ghana, so I don't know how Ghana works, but maybe they may be adopting the same thing. But the conveyor who convey the purchase process would also do their own, money laundering checks in the same way that the writers would. And they would ask. But what I tell people is that it's always best that you put steady money in the account. For example, if your 3 months bank statement, as of March is showing 20,000, and then the remaining month is showing like what the 1,002, they can see that monies are coming from your main credit accounts going on, and most of the time they won't challenge it. But when they begin to see huge deposit and not from your own account but from someone else, then they want to find out why. And so they will dig it. And if it means you have to go back and bring an additional 3 months or 6 months, you would have to. They will dig it. But majority of the time, if it is well done and we savings na wakasa we save you here to get it, it's easier because most savings bank statements now your annual statements anyways. Unless you kept the money in your current account, then they would want to find out where it came from. So the same approach, the person would have to prove the source of the funds. So whether it was from a process of a property sale, whether from a business transaction, how the person or from their own personal month-to-month savings, you have to be able to prove how you make that money. And also on the 3 months bank statement, now on my passports, a form of ID, and then also they would also get the person to sign, a gifted deposit form to confirm that it is a gift and that he does not have any share of the property or cannot claim any share of the property after the purchase. Because you said that the lender will have a security on the property because they are funding majority of the cost. And they don't want a third party coming in to say, they don't want that. And so you have to sign something to say, so they will go through the same vigorous process. Yeah. Does that answer your 2 questions?
All right.
Okay.
Thank you. We have quick one to both speakers. Sebastian Obi Buza said, me Abwana Manat on the property, either in Ghana or in the UK. Ima, if it's in the UK, would you be able to help the person to sell the property? Not the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, absolutely. The kind of business I do, like I said, I'm into real estate. We do funding, we do acquisition. At the same time, no, you develop it, and so we are into all that, and we have a lot of people who are looking to buy. As I'm speaking, I have a lot of clients. So see, I send my pay mortgage offer more pay. And so selling a house is not difficult. And most of the time too, when you come and I talk to you in my free consultation, I sometimes try to find out why you want to sell. And if there is any strategy that means that you can keep it and still make some money off it. It turns out and you'll be an episode after they talk to me. But if a person meet me, not a problem.
Sure. Lawyer, would you not come in and say, yeah, not court now, but I know in your circles and so no more, Obi, our Hanumna, or Fee, our Ghana, no person, any help?
And we can help, absolutely. We are lawyers. We work with a team of people. And so we will help person to us, so person to a fee, and I will be our person once you contact us. We will ensure that we help you in that process. Now, we don't work alone. I have other people I work with. I have real estate guys.
Okay.
We are all thank you.
Yo, whilst we other questions, Mestre Emmanuel, ubetimi the contact details at to chat room or Samson lawyer. Mestre, all the contact details but to chat room or no contact him, normal contact him after the show. Yemfa partner, please unmute yourself and ask your question from Partner Daniel. And check this section ever very personal focus sessions. Partner, you.
Yes, me patcho, me da sibe. My questions near to Bakoko Iman Pacho Iman o UK.
Yes.
Me patcho mediana and famogage better. Van say men can say, but the can't get in Kitty to me, yes, and be Tiano. Me, yes, me contacted me call for the number Tiano. And a more refer me ma or see pay plan. Now, your name go to no, they call something individual voluntary arrangement, meaning so would matter. And now say, wait to me, I bring me kakra.
Okay, so I mean, then the name says it all, isn't it? Because it's an individual voluntary arrangement. So what happens? They say, "Omonowa go through your finance," and they've realized they say maybe the minimum payments now, currently, no, your current situation means that untimi afford it, and so they are giving you. Because that is what the government is asking them to do now. Because there is we are in a hard time, the government is telling every lender to be lenient and give options, and so that aggressive way of taking money from people, is gone. And if a lender takes you to court without showing beyond any reasonable doubt, say one more flexible opportunities to pay, and when they will throw the case out of the courts. Now, and to know that a voluntary payment is basically to say, well, your assets, you say you have enough money to be able to pay that money. It's one person decided voluntarily sign up a and then you decide to make the payment as you want. But again, like I said, it's all entirely up to you. But if you want to buy a property, then if you are planning to buy any property within the next year or two, and you really need to kind of up your game a bit more, get some more second job, and clear those small debts in favor, because lenders don't like those arranged payments. They feel like say and yet proper, and then going forward, you should be able to.
A part of insolvency now.
The patron say
a part of insolvency.
And yeah, insolvency there be.
Okay.
And yet part of it. You are talking about just in case if they were insolvency, they say if you have a limited company and you are going into insolvency, then you have to get a lawyer to go through those due processes. But if you as an individual, you can't go into insolvency, you can only go into bankruptcy. All right. But it's not unless they filed to make you bankrupt. That is a different discussion all over. We have to pick up properly and talk. but I would hardly doubt say it is that.
All right, thank you very much. Second one, we call lawyer.
Lawyer, I'm no why? Okay, would go ahead.
But now said, you know, he says, over fire in a cost, no pet, or this surveyor, no, I could pick land in Nama, no, acquire search Namana. What now can be this our first point, how we can make it.
Okay, maybe that's a part. The mutual said, normally, no, when lawyers, you know, there's a service we provide for people, but some properties, a very due diligence. When I'm doing due diligence, then the auto property, they come on a site planner. I don't depend on the site plan. I generate my own site plan. So, me and customer make surveyor, acquire a citizen. Now I copy with the machines. Now I generated site planner, mommy. So I do the search with my surveyor's site plan. Site plan, me and customer generating. But one of the things I hear when they say, sometimes, no, we remember our site plan. But assassin or bed chair or no, sometimes there are variations between assassin and what chair or no, any site plan or the amount. So to be very sure, assassin and the chair, no, that's the same assassin. Me, etc. So now I generate my own site plan and I use that for the same. And I'm
Marty, thank you very much. Thank you.
Nice one.
Now, the numbers. Okay, so the big chat. Okay.
I call chat on Dr. Lawyer ni Emmanuel Omo numbers ewo hono. Why? Me that say. Yemfa Daniel Antwi. Daniel, please go ahead and ask the question.
Lawyer, now we can lease, 99, no, since you cross one of the bathroom, whatever. But what about the full time in the is, no? What say you do a war? You have to go back to Lesser, no, and then renegotiate. The patron, I do on midday, so my see, I'm going to say 15 storyboard and S dinosaur. Now me call no so on tongue on some passes, and mamma. What happens in that circumstance? I say me could boom me dining in a Namid Assassin man. And I say, I do on the ma. Na the obedi na adie no e be on the dia afi assassin no I prime amano also no me twan boko ama with time no so pe wo de wo ba akasome ntom adie ma do wo dai na me fa me be ya do for. How does the law contemplate that situation? And I don't assume say by 99 there near we continue ye chiri asam intino we should, but say me or the say estate planning na ma plan we nyina to ama member echi no mu nyina ba na sa ade nyina ho ha, then they'll run into trouble, right? Into patcho on chichi mu chire me the second one no so say what can say freehold ne aban we bi asase no is that the time when I'm massam timeline we say 2020 almost pass mrabi and patcho bit me differentiate what Zambrano is seeking to do as against before 2020 what the situation was.
Okay.
Before you go into the second question, you know, Mesre pa minim se we very tight. Nanka ubeti eni kakra bi na mum se ka ebribebem na next week when yamre amai na oni aka the new land act no ho asema eni beje pa.
I'll try. Okay, quick one on as a lease no expire. As a lease no expire, most of the time, generally, no, a renegotiation. Also, in the price at which you bought it, so when your government had determined the price of land, it was only the panel of Mutnas and Amushisha. So the first option is go and see them, and then you will renegotiate. Most of the time, can you panel task and the time 70 years and now 99 in bedroom now with him. And most of the time, it is the next generation. Maybe we'll map any, maybe the lesser or so, and also they map and answer the hands. No, most of the time they will renegotiate. If you renegotiate, one party can decide to go to court. You can go to court. If you go to court, we can look at what is fair to look at there. But the first option is always renegotiation. Sentiasi amba de no na court was and go for me no hona muntim ho ase. But if I don't know to pass over drill dining, no, the person can't do that. If the person wants to move to repossess the place, and the person still has to go to court. So court, you will also be heard and go through a trial. Maybe the court can help to work to resolve the dispute. So most of the time, with the end, it is renegotiation. If renegotiation fails, people can go to court, and then you look at it from there. That is what happens with the extension of the leases. But sometimes when lawyers say drafting lease agreements, there will be a renewal clause. Sometimes we put it inside. We put a renewal clause inside. The emphasis says the original lease is for 70 years. We will put in a covenant stating that the lessor has agreed to further extend the lease by a term of another 30 years based on these conditions. So sometimes, when we are drafting lease agreements, we put in the extension clause. So that is how you go about these things. The second question, is on the Land Act. What Emmanuel said, 2020, we've passed a new law. That's a new land. We try to consolidate the pieces of legislation on land into one, IFN Lands Act 2020. It is also the new Lands Act. It's about the freehold in family properties, family land. You can't create freehold in family land. Until after the new Lands Act came into effect now, it is not legal to create a freehold in family land. As also the 1992 Constitution, so not allowed to create freehold in stool lands. So as it stands now, you cannot create freehold in stool lands and family lands as are now. Now, if the freehold was created before these laws came into effect, the freeholds are there, but you cannot create new freeholds after this period. That's exactly what I'm saying. Thank you.
Yo, that's it. Ma yemfa aku but just mambuni ya fachem. Unmute yourself and ask a question.
Okay, yo. Madam was you kwanya with the mommy. My son Musa say na omo church about banking credit na affordability na we say no. Na me person Musa say UK no most I think say our banking system ne wo two parts or something. So state banks are ultimately say we dey about bit say HSBC ne Lois ne Hong Kong ba. And a war online banking no bit say Monzo money those Revolut ni sa banks no. And if say me who say obe build affordability ni sa credit score ni sa Hong Kong ba na sa online banking for any state banks ni na no ani so de bi se o pese o to fia na mortgage ni hon sam se na no the same banks no ni na accepted na say you focus on state banks na say online banking no me masem say no.
Okay. So if me to was here o pa kire say o person ko to dan o bo won so be to dan is it better so be banking with an online bank and also be banking with a high street bank to say Barclays, HSBC, no more Macano? Question, right? Just to put it in a summarized form. Okay.
Yes.
Anyway, I think that's how I understand it. Yes. It really doesn't matter whether you are with Monzo, whoever. It doesn't matter. The only bank here, how you conduct your banking system, no, your banking transaction, any here. All right. So, because all these banks, they are regulated, by the Financial Conduct Authority in the UK, FCA. And, so long as the bank you are dealing with is regulated, then it's fine. It really doesn't matter whether they are online or they are high street. But when it comes to getting the mortgage, they are, and we can go to any bank. The mortgage itself, you don't necessarily have to get it with your bank. Maybe the bank I bank with, Kramengi Mortgage or Munchenda, I always go to a different bank because they tend to give me better interest rate than my own bank. So every situation is unique and different, but the kind of place you bank doesn't actually, even if, it really doesn't matter. Any bank, so long as they are regulated by FC, it's fine. You have to conduct yourself well. Secure for account mo, send our manage secure account mo. Obu on mo, secure account man, no shall gambling, betting, this and they don't like those things. You tend to be a very high risk, individual, and most of the time lenders will just cancel you. And be careful how you run your account. That's the most important. That's the take home for today, in my opinion. Just run your account well and conduct yourself properly. When you present your documents to any lender, they will know say you are responsible.
Right. Run your account well. That's the take home today. Obi Mbachawa Baso, Maminfa Jonas and Sanama Fao last nafi ye. Jonas Mbacho briefly ye too.
Aba Mbacho Bichamo.
Yeah, just Jonas.
Na muka about ubeta sasia say unko rainy season nyama we dey make say no kware matom because matom bi wo dodo aho nko no so no ato honestly, so I decided to say mini buy we wo fish farming because Cleveland Musa can say 99 years, that renewal contract, where they advise Uber for now. Share 99 years, yes, so say by the time Uber was up with a simple agreement. Almost mean you marry in that family and about 99 years, Uber by a fear penny and a fear penny or Musa do not resolution, but it's very simple. Simple advice. My plan is 89 years.
That is the way free advice now, dear man. Yeah, that's Jonas. Yo, Obi, on it last verse, my info Obi, it's you.
All right, thank you. This again goes for the real estate agent. My question is that from like getting the mortgage loan to like closing, how long does the process usually take in the UK?
You have up to 16 weeks, basically. So it can be 1 week, 2 weeks, depending on every situation. I've done a 1 week mortgage before. You did 2 more penny a demand. I've done 2 weeks before, 3 weeks before, but I've also done 1.5 years before. So it's all unique. But I mean, on the average in the UK, 16 weeks, you should be able to complete.
All right, cool.
All right, Obi. Yeah. I better want to talk.
Madam Munyina say, and penny for Madam Wasi, and then you may looking at more time schedule. Mwenya kwai any ababe check your experience, your knowledge more in your respective field. No, yeah, that must be brave. Na emum mesremo. We want to hear from you. Yes. Yeah.
But the so answer better episode kasana when it's we're pretending so. Say, my friend.
All right, sorry for that. I'm in funny came for the last time, man. Who know? Until Anti-Bet and Pacho, unmute yourself. Maybe my main share to pick you up. Belta. Okay, unmute yourself now for our question, Nebra. Hello. Abada, please unmute yourself and ask your question.
Unmute. Hello?
Hi, we can hear you now.
Okay. Me pacho me visa and rest it man over UK now. I have have a property, so a property. Now what science say interest no and cost for 5 years. When you read that 5 years, do you have to sign the do it again with the same bank, or you can change the bank? Which one is better?
Yeah, I mean if the bank is giving you a good interest rate, because normally after the 5 years, before the end of the 5 years fixed period, the bank will write to you and ask that you pick another package with them.
Okay.
And so you have to go to their website, and then check the packages they have, and also look at the interest rate. If you don't understand, you can request for a mortgage advisor with the bank to explain them to you. If you are unsure, you can get a copy of the package and share it with a mortgage advisor or any financial consultant. You can talk to me, you can talk to someone else. And then if the interest rate is high and the terms and all those, bits that are in the packages, we don't think it's fair, then of course we can search the whole market and see if we can get a better offer for you. But like I always say, if your bank is good and you feel like you want to stay with them, then stay with them. But if you want to move on, you can also move on, put some money from your property, invest in another property. That's if you really want to get your hands busy on the investment, business. Then you can explore.
Because somebody said to me, say, once they are the one who gave you the loan for you to buy that house, it's not advisable to just get away from them. You have to stay with them. That's why I'm asking.
No, it's not true. It's not true. It's not true. Okay. As a matter of fact, from chain before the 5 years period,
Oh, really?
But you might pay something called an early redemption fee. So the early redemption fee, if you are chain within 3 years of your contract, 4 years, 5. So if it's even approaching 5 years, you may probably not pay anything at all. But you can leave them. So my interest rate is 5%. That's another bank amount 4%. And why would you stay there? No, you can leave.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Cool.
I got you. Ima, thank you very much, Nana.
All right. Cheers.
Thanks.
Imani lawyer Midamwasi Bebre na nyumre ba answer na mobeko no yenje mo last words answer na ya wrap up this session, then ye befa chapter 7 focus section e dey ato so with few minutes na ye dey show no aba awie. Nti mami start from you, Ima, your last words I would jai.
Oh, Nana Nyamishra, thanks for the opportunity, and of course Nyamishra Munina has been very engaging, and as always, you make us, laugh and all that. But like I always say, investing in property is a huge investment, and so you just don't want to throw money away or do anything anyhow. In the same way, if you were to get married, you plan, you go for counseling, you go and find a venue and all that. You've got to treat it sacred, in a sacred manner. You've got to put a lot of effort and attention in it. And so don't treat it anyhow. Give yourself a lot of time. I tell people, even give yourself like a year or two. Plan it properly so that when you start, the process will be easy and you enjoy, the process. Otherwise, it turns out that and then and it turns out to be too daunting and stressful. And so get in touch. Let's start something. If it's not going to work now, we can put you on a plan, give you a lot of time, then you can buy. It's me, but take care of yourself, run your account well, treat your credits well, and buy properties. Buy properties. Very important. Thank you.
Mano, ene enyumre ye beda wasi bebre se wasan ene ababeche. Mr. Wa, share your contact details in the chat room with us. Na say ye here say ye know ebe kasa after this show ye timi afro na ye know akasa. Adia baako a ima okan a eye me de pa na mebusa lawyer Richmond enso say ono so obetimi aka the same one na ima introduce ne ono. O say ye evangelist or a property investor na or one wife with 3 children or one wife with 3 children. Lawyer, but your major last words.
Afasa mu bremi o.
Daddy me fast MPA Ubia ntimi enye bia Ubia ntimi. I'm say lawyer. Lawyer, please try and unmute yourself na afe your last words.
Thank you for the opportunity given us today. And question I'll be saying, and if I was here, I'm also a lay pastor. I'm a lay pastor. I do a lot of youth outreach work. Beyond law, I practice. Beyond practicing law, I'm also a pastor. And I'm a prayer meeting. You have stolen me out of the prayer meeting to come and do the presentation.
Forgive. We need evangelism. We need evangelism.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Now, the last time I can say, property there for people who are looking at buying property, Ghana is a very good market. Honestly, I would really encourage people that the Ghanaian market, even though there are challenges, but if you find good property, the returns are good. Because some of my church guys, we bought land at a location about 2 years ago. Because about 2 years ago. And drew exactly 2 years. But our share price, and the price has almost doubled in 2 years. Almost doubled in 2 years. So when it comes to land, it comes to houses and BBR. In Ghana, as idea, it's very good investment. Just that do your search well. Make sure that you have somebody guiding you. If you need a lawyer to guide you, find one. I'm not necessarily saying that come from me, but make sure that you have the proper advice and the proper help. But when it comes to property, I'll encourage everybody that buy property. Very, very important. I let some people, they bought some houses, and you'll be surprised that in a short while, it's gone up by almost 60-70%. So property investment there, it is good investment. Now I'll encourage everyone to get into the property market. And on this note, thank you so much for having me. I'm so grateful. God bless you.
Well, I said that to be brave, and then you may also utini joining. Now, said the name and we will be very grateful. Say next week, Uber joining in Beam. About law, land act in Ghana, the new land act in Ghana. Into me, so far, contact details. Lawyer, next week, okay, in your submission, okay, this when you are buying land or property in Ghana, deal with agent or power of attorney. Deal with agent or power of attorney. There was a case in Ghana of Ubia, not only agent. Ubi top land and or didn't cool if he had a mistake. And not knowing what coffee on say or person be high dying, no quack viewing. Now no all quack viewing and no catch only back on all land and a man and say if he had no or J deposit new year or quiet only back on a no or go for your say or not here. I was there you I had yeah pay Ubia rent and no buy no be viewing and you had no not here. Yami adma next week you be can say me nyina e ho asem no ba and it yes make time na any come the new land act in Ghana sisi Yami adma next lawyer and will be spoken. Yeah, that's the part why Japan yes over. You was for a hand any section this new I say Yami adma yeah ochina ask the lawyer Juma our platform every Friday from 8 UK time. You can't immigration matters into all the changes are also our UK immigration rules nimuno lawyer wisdom akaho ebahano nyame ya adoma ochina obesan I join in the last week you can about the digitization and a home office or yes by the end of 2024 biometric card oko renew visa ye demand and I say oko je visa ye demand or see wo ye fi hono everything is going digital. Visa no ebeye e-visa. Last week I can answer. Friday lawyer besan joining a beam any attrition and come on immigration matters. Anything joining from 8 p.m. Echo UK time. Now every Wednesday be share for health talk every Wednesday be a health talk. And also no me say o join here ebeye emwa inshira e de amount bebre ebia o health matters be a untimi enya appointment enko hu doctors eba shows so any eba betwetwe nkomo all matters relating to health omo etimi eboa o ma ho advice. Inti join us every Wednesday 8 p.m. UK time. Then also yene enshia on health matters. Nyame adoma ochina se me di kan ekan movie we trendy organa pa Shades of Grace. Nyame adoma on the 25th of May. Omo movie premiere ewo Greenwich Odeon Cinema. And inti nyame adoma ochina the leading characters no ombe joining me ewo platform so na yatwetwe enkomo about the premiere bekoso about the storyline of this movie and all that you need to know about the Shades of Grace. And into Bomodia Ochina, first lawyer asked the lawyer from 8. After that, Namede Martin Kuma, the producer of the movie, and other characters of movie mu omunyina ebebro and into Shannon so. Yankwe na fe yendane ho enonachi yeba minua A class be joining me Honey Chad ewa ha ye be a breakout room Honey Chad be ho customer service team be ho no na fe so tap send focus section the o pese ubusa about tap send contribution bia anase suggestion bia person de ba no na odi ni nyina aba sabre aseda ene ye de mu bia na nwumre otimi joining yen ye dane ho ye ba pe we will be talking about tap send. Yes, farming.
This is Lawyer Wisdom of Wise Smart Solicitors. Join me this and every Friday on OT TV from 8 to 9 p.m. for all your UK immigration matters. I hope to see you there. Thank you.
Mr. Mankwa, me office was a niska banye di awie ni project no. Eso de bia me office ka mane wo problem.
Enemremu. Na monte tap sending kan.
No so ne de.
Tap send dey easy, fast and secured way. Ubetimi send this free amanone. Aba Ghana bank account and as a mobile money account. Untia transfer fee bia.
Sir, I obey ni say.
Chine say won ko App Store na Play Store. On download the tap send app no. Or download ya. Ebebusan so promo code or ma the pet TV shim. Obenya €5, £5, and answer $10 on his first transfer.
And you make kwa friend a catch them.
Tabi minyanwe. Esansa tap send at the good news aba. Tap send the gina customers won't or the tap send wallet aba.
I know about anything.
So your customer who you cases here. Ubetimi ako tap send app no create wallet also. Enti se rate ne kosora now the sika ko gu wallet no. Anase mpo betimi atususu nkakra enti abre sema opeso send sika ba Ghana no anse wa send sika na ba Ghana anase oba o my Ghana mu watimi use sika e wo wallet no tie
eni set say use momo Ghana hayiru
sa pepepe se si tap send atre na him kopiem wo United Arab Emirates, Netherlands and Austria. Tap send na papa no.
Yo